In this screencast, I'll teach you how to use an if statement formula in Excel to add some logic to your spreadsheets. If statements check for a condition and then show something based on what a cell contains. Let's start off with a simple example here. We have a list of names of people at our company and what they've signed up to bring for a party. Let's write a formula in column D to add a message to remind anyone who hasn't signed up yet. In column D, I'll write my first if statement formula. Like most formulas, it opens up with an equal sign, and then we're going to type the word if and open the parentheses. Now, at this point, what we do is we write a condition to check. Basically, this is the part of the formula where we check something. In this case, I want to check to see if the cell is blank. So I'm going to type C2 equals open quotation mark, close quotation mark, comma. Now, what does this mean? What I did here was basically check if C2 is equal to nothing or equal to an empty cell. This is just a check to see if someone's forgotten to sign up. Now, we're going to tell Excel what to show if our formula is true. I'm basically going to specify what to show if the cell is blank. If it is blank, we need to remind our coworker to bring something. So I'm going to open up with a quotation mark and say, remind them, exclamation point, and close the quotation mark and add a comma. The comma is a signal to Excel that we're moving on to the next part of the formula. Since we've already given a value for what to show if the formula is true, we need to show the value of when a formula is false. So in this case, that means that the cell isn't empty. If the person has already signed up to bring something, we should show the corresponding message. So I'm going to put an alternate message in quotation marks, which is, quote, they've already signed up, period, close quotation marks. And then I'm going to close out the parentheses. When I press return in this case, you'll see that Excel shows that they've already signed up, which is true for the person that's on this row. Let's pull the formula down to every other cell now. And you'll see that this formula is working perfectly. For every blank cell in column C, it's got a remind them text next to it. At this point, I could filter at the top to anyone who needs reminding, and then just get in touch with everyone on the list. Next up, we're going to move on to the Test Values tab. On this sheet, I've got a list of inventory I've counted. Every batch should have exactly 10 items, so let's test to see if any of the inventory doesn't have 10 items. Let's write our next if statement. I'm going to come to column E here and type the equal sign and open up the parentheses. In this case, I want to check and see if the cell next to it equals anything other than 10. So I'm going to click on cell D4, and then I'm going to type a less than sign and then a greater than sign right next to it. This is a helpful expression that helps us test if a value is not equal to something. So I'm going to type in 10 now, and this is just going to check and see if the cell is not equal to 10, which would indicate a problem. Now I'll add a comma and a true condition. The true condition in this case is what shows if the cell doesn't equal 10. So I'm going to make the message, quote, needs attention, close quotation marks, for any inventory count that doesn't equal 10. Next up, I'll add another comma, and now we're moving on to the false condition. I'll just add another quotation mark and then close it out immediately. So basically, this is just going to be a blank. I'll close out the parentheses and press enter. This is basically saying that if the count does contain exactly 10 items, no worries, just print no message at all. When I pull the formula down, you'll see that it looks at the adjacent cell next to it and prints the correct formula. If the count is anything other than 10, it will print this warning message, and if not, no message at all. Now, we can take this spreadsheet and action appropriately. These are two quick and easy examples of if statements. In the first one, we checked for a specific bit of text, while the second one checked a numerical value. These two formulas together are perfect for adding logic to your spreadsheets. I'm Andrew Childers for Envato Tuts Plus, and thanks so much for joining me.